Welcome to Tiny Land, the magical place where every story comes to life. Today, we have an exciting adventure just for you. Get ready for the classic tale of Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, in a small village at the edge of a great forest, there lived a sweet and brave girl named Little Red Riding Hood. She always wore a bright red cloak with a hood, a gift from her dear grandmother. One sunny morning, Little Red Riding Hood set out on a journey to visit her grandmother, who lived deep in the forest. She carried a basket of goodies to make her grandmother feel better. But the forest can be a mysterious place, and Little Red Riding Hood didn't know that a sly and hungry wolf was following her every step. What will happen next? Will Little Red Riding Hood reach her grandmother safely? Join us in Tiny Land as we follow Little Red Riding Hood on her courageous adventure. We'll learn about bravery, clever thinking, and the importance of listening to your parents.
Once upon a time, in a small village on the edge of a dense forest, there lived a sweet little girl whom everyone called Little Red Riding Hood. She was named so because she always wore a beautiful red cloak that her grandmother had made for her. One sunny morning, Little Red Riding Hood's mother called her into the kitchen.
"My dear, your grandmother is ill. I have prepared a basket of food and drink for her. Please take this basket to her, but remember, stay on the path and do not talk to strangers,"
Her mother advised. Little Red Riding Hood nodded with a smile and set off on her journey. The forest was alive with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves. As she walked, she picked some wildflowers, thinking they would make her grandmother happy. As she ventured deeper into the forest, she encountered a cunning wolf who eyed her basket with greedy eyes. The wolf said with a smile,
"Good morning, Little Red Riding Hood. Where are you going today?"
I'm going to visit my grandmother, who lives at the end of this path.
She replied innocently.
"How lovely. Why don't you pick some more flowers for your grandmother? She would love them."
The wolf said, a sly glint in his eyes. Little Red Riding Hood, impressed by the wolf's suggestion, wandered off the path to gather more flowers. Meanwhile, the cunning wolf ran straight to the grandmother's cottage. He knocked on the door, mimicking Little Red Riding Hood's voice.
"Who's there?"
The grandmother asked weakly. The wolf replied, altering his voice. "You.
It's me, Little Red Riding Hood. I've brought you some food."
"Come in, my dear. Come in, my dear,"
the grandmother said. As soon as the wolf entered, he jumped on the grandmother and locked her in the closet. Then he put on her nightgown and cap, and lay in bed, waiting for Little Red Riding Hood. A short while later, Little Red Riding Hood arrived at the cottage. She noticed the door was open and felt a bit uneasy. She walked in and approached the bed.
"Grandmother, what big eyes you have."
She said.
"The better to see you with, my dear."
The wolf replied, trying to make his voice sound sweet.
"Grandmother, what big ears you have."
She said.
"The better to hear you with, my dear."
"Grandmother, what big teeth you have."
She said. The wolf snarled, jumping out of the bed. Just as the wolf was about to pounce on Little Red Riding Hood, a woodcutter who had been passing by the cottage heard her scream. He rushed in with his axe and chased the wolf away, saving both Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother. The woodcutter helped the grandmother out of the closet, and they all sat down to enjoy the food that Little Red Riding Hood had brought. From that day on, Little Red Riding Hood learned to always follow her mother's advice.
And so, Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother were safe and sound, thanks to their bravery and quick thinking. This story reminds us of some very important lessons. First, always listen to your parents and follow their advice. Little Red Riding Hood learned that staying on the safe path is very important. Second, be cautious and aware of your surroundings. Little Red Riding Hood discovered that not everyone you meet can be trusted, and it's important to be careful. And lastly, be brave and use your cleverness in tricky situations. Just like Little Red Riding Hood, we can all find the courage within us to face our fears and overcome challenges. We hope you enjoyed this magical adventure in Tiny Land. Remember these lessons, and you'll always find your way through any forest. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to get notified about more exciting stories. What adventure would you like to hear next? Let us know in the comments below.